Hi Latumway, hope you're good. Like your videos. This is a reply to your video Feminism and Men's Rights, which you put on YouTube in early August 2013. Yeah, I liked your video. I've been thinking of doing a video about this subject for a long time. It's been in the debate air for a long time, hasn't it? And Okay, so in terms of men and women's rights, I think I can speak for most people and say that what we want to see is a harmonious world where men and women are kind of treat each other like human beings more than kind of the specific genders they are a lot of the time, and we feel kind of happy in ourselves and get along with one another, as I say, as human beings. And I think thinking about it, I think two essential features of such let me label that a harmonious society. I think two essential features of a harmonious society, in my view, are equality and integration. When I talk about equality, I'm personally an equality nut. I have my own system which I've been developing called preference equality, which I talked about a few videos ago. And So I'd probably want the genders to be equal in terms of preference satisfaction in their lives generally, which is pretty sort of radical equality. But if people don't want to sort of think of it in those terms, I'd recommend some sort of radical equality of the genders of a slightly different kind. Maybe think of it in terms of power and wealth. That's the kind of equality I want to see. And integration. Obviously, I think it would be a better society if we're integrated, and also our the equality between the genders is going to be a lot more stable if we're integrating with one another, so don't segregate each other off into separate groups and activities. For example, in sport, try and find a way of having sport which both genders kind of enjoy, like mixed doubles, tennis and stuff, rather than the kind of traditional football world where it's all men. Again, the Olympics is quite a gender kind of mixed sport. So for me, any kind of movement for trying to change the world probably should embody the maxim, be the change you want to see. It always strikes me as a bit bizarre when people are trying to make a better world in a certain respect by doing the sort of opposite, like doing violence to try and make a kind of more friendly, harmonious society. And so I see some problems with the feminist movement as it is. Two specific problems. One is it really seems to be segregating itself off, sometimes on purpose. I was talking to a feminist a month or two ago, and she was defending how women need to form their own groups without men in them. For the reasons just given, I see this as a bit of a problem. The other problem with feminism I see is the name. That seems to imply I don't know, something positive about women or promoting women, rather than gender equality. So even if there's one little area where women dominate men, it would seem that a feminist on face value wouldn't be worried about that. Yeah, I think there are probably areas where women dominate men, maybe in sexual areas, and in the home, and raising of children and so on. I haven't actually researched this, so I probably shouldn't sound off about that, but at a guess I'd say there are probably at least one or two areas where women already dominate men. So yeah, basically if we're going to have gender equality movements, I'd say we should make sure they're movements with both women and men, where we highlight the inequalities going in either direction. So if such a organization starts becoming like 90% women or the other way, I'd see that as a problem, and I think we should try and make sure that they are balanced in terms of gender. Yes, I mean I've got an open mind about whether gender is such a great issue compared to other issues that they should be separate movements. I mean, it is a political issue, but there's a whole lot of other political issues which probably are maybe more important or just as important, like people are dying right now, famines and wars, and pollution and everything else. So I personally would probably continue. I mean, I'm in the Green Party and I'm getting involved in a lot of general political things. This preference equality idea as well. I spent a lot of time on that, and I would probably generally think of gender alongside those other issues. But I think if we do want to have a separate organisation thinking about gender, or conference about gender or whatever, I'd be very keen for it to be sort of equal, roughly equal men and women involved, and so on. So in terms of specific recommendations, policy recommendations, I'm not really a meritocrat, so I'm not so worried about whether men and women are, whether one is better, more naturally able, like for example in child rearing might be one who would claim that one gender is better than the other, but you can make all kinds of claims about specializations in things, and maybe there's some truth there that men are better in certain ways and women are better in other ways, but I still want an equal, harmonious society, so I'm not really worried about identifying those issues. I am interested in identifying issues of inequality, which men's rights movements and women's rights movements do rightly talk about. In terms of specifics, I think that pretty uncontroversial that there are more men in Parliament and I think I haven't researched this either, but I think there are more men in like management positions, or certainly in owning companies and stuff. So I'd be up for basically a law saying that there have to be equal numbers of men and women in Parliament and in probably local councils as well, and also with private companies. Yeah, I'd make a law saying that any major company, I guess if you got a little taxi firm or something, maybe you could have just a man running it or whatever, but in terms of big companies which employ large numbers of people, I'd have a law saying that all the management have to be gender equal representation of either gender, and again with ownership, again make it sort of equal. I mentioned earlier on that women perhaps do dominate some areas, like the raising of children, and they have a natural sort of upper hand in maybe in sexual areas. The children, yeah, you kind of equality laws. It's a little bit more difficult because it's hard to make a law making someone have sex, or a law making someone have a child, give birth to a child that they don't want to give birth to. So there's I'd probably recommend more cultural awareness programs or efforts rather than trying to change laws about that. So those are my thoughts on the issue. All the best.